Hi everyone, Weethany Get Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of this new Boris album, Heavy Rocks 2022. Japanese rock, drone, and metal outfit Boris, they're back, but did they ever really leave? No. Not really. They are adding once again to their massive and ever-growing discography. Yes, they are doing that, but also adding to their Heavy Rock series here. This is the third installment now, making it a trilogy. Long story short, the band dropped one of the heaviest and most rockin' records in their discography back in 2002. It was titled Heavy Rocks. Stylistically, this one had a very crushing stoner metal and rock flavor to it, and I guess they decided this album and direction was so good that they would pretty much do it again almost 10 years later with Heavy Rocks, released in 2011. Same title, same cover, but with a different color. And now they're doing it again around 10 years later again with the same title, but a different color. I guess more of a leopard print this time around. And it's a Boris album, so of course it's going to be heavy. There will be an undercurrent of doom and stoner metal in there. But Heavy Rocks 2022 is easily the wildest, fastest, and most upbeat installment in the Heavy Rock series so far. The riffs and campy vocals don't even feel as indebted to stoner metal and rock as they do heavy metal and hard rock. There's a dash of thrash in there occasionally too, not in the same way that we heard on 2021's No. This time around it's a bit scuzzier and weirder. The track My Name is Blank even sounds like an old Gwar song, but delivered with a punk ferocity and a noisier mix. And yeah, chaos, noise, classic metal riffs, and over-the-top vocals is pretty much the name of the game on this record. She Is Burning, for example, features not just some very heavy riffage, but also these hard-panned, searing lead guitars that are just deafening. There are some driving drums and epic horn sections on the track too. Easily one of the most balls-to-the-wall songs Boris has ever recorded. But the camp on the track Cramper takes the form of these really cartoonish mutant group vocals. It's like there's a chorus of gremlins in the background saying, "You believe in desire." Plus the hair metal hook on this track, "You really like it." There's a bridge on the song that sounds like dude is changing into a werewolf with all of his screams ringing out into the night. All the out there shit packed into this track is maybe a little disruptive. It's maybe a little much, but still, it has one of the most solid and kick-ass songs at the core of it. Past here, there is a bit of a lull around the midpoint of this LP. There's Blah Blah Blah, which slows things down with a very spacious mix. Fuzz bass, primal drums, tons of reverb on those guitars. There's a devilish groove to it, but the bright and ethereal vocal harmonies that hit on what I guess is a chorus just are too short-winded. It's not enough. And if this track is as wild and as free a jam as the performance implies, it could have gone wilder. Then Question 1 turns up the heat and speed again, but with a mix that kind of sucks. Everything on it feels just smushed down to a claustrophobic degree, except for the vocals, which ride really loud and high above everything else and have this synthetic processing on them. Maybe they're pitched to some degree. Either way, it's not the most flattering. But I do have to say, this is one of the more unique songs I've heard in this style. I mean, just leave it up to Boris to pull that off. Especially with this sudden psychedelic doom breakdown in the middle of the track, which doesn't have the smoothest segue in and out. The song Ruins kind of runs in a similar direction stylistically with those pumping riffs and those touched up vocals, but way more blunt of a song structure, no breakdown or anything like that. It's just kick-ass from front to back. Then Nosferatu is another slow burner on the record, where the band goes back to their droney and down-tuned roots. It's slow, it's heavy, a lot of space, a lot of volume. This track could have even been on their Deer record back in 2017. And true, it's far from the worst Boris song I've heard, but have they done better? Yes. Does it stick out like a sore thumb on this LP? Yes. Are some of the riffs and rhythms we do get on this track in a few spare moments a little out of sync? Yes. But the unsettling choral harmonies as well as the wailing saxes do add an interesting dynamic here, and it does sound genuinely eerie and strange at points. Overall, it's okay. I think it's a bit of a wash. Then we have the last leg where things just sort of go everywhere. Ghostly Imagination has almost this oompa quality to the beat. There's some some really fried guitars in the mix as well. Easily the most unhinged sounding cut here, especially with these garish vocal harmonies and deafening guitar leads, just kind of flying in, smothering everything. I kind of admire it for being as noisy and as ugly as it is. Boris really embracing some chaotic evil here, and just making something that's challenging and freakish. The track Chained sees the band completely not giving a fuck too, with lots of blasted drums, fiery distortion, washed out vocals, and so much bleed going on in the mix, like every piece of instrumentation is smothering every other piece of instrumentation. It's like a psychedelic noise metal. It's kind of sick. The band saves the slowest and most dramatic cut on this LP for last, with the kind of heavy and patient piano passages you would expect out of a lingua ignota record, topped with these sort of distorted, pained, wailing lead vocals. There's a lot of passion there, but the progression is slow, sort of patience testing, not exactly edge of your seat, and while it does thicken up and get kind of heavy at points, the abrupt finish here isn't exactly climactic. Still, Heavy Rocks 2022 is still a pretty solid album overall from Boris. Lots of kick-ass tracks, kick-ass riffs, kick-ass songs, kick-ass vocals. It does lose momentum here and there during the slower and sludgier moments. These spots I think could have used a little something extra, some development, some layers, something to make them feel more connected to the speedier and harder hitting cuts here. But for the most part, this record is still a very good time, and it sounds like Boris had a lot of fun with this one. Feeling a decent 2 strong 7 here. Transition, have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head, it's another video you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Boris, Heavy Rocks, 2022, forever.